Yeah, this is unfortunate, and we're joined now by former Warriors orthopedic surgeon Dr. John Belzer. Worked with the team from 2001 to 09. We had you here earlier talking about KD's situation. Now it's Klay. If you're here anymore, we're going to have to get you an ABC7 pin because you're becoming irregular. Why don't we go through the ACL, anterior cruciate ligament, and how it works and what went wrong here?
So what we have here is a model of the knee. Basically, there are four bones that make up the knee. We'll focus on two, which are the femur and the tibia. Those are the main two that we support our weight with through the knee. And those are held together by the four main ligaments, the collateral ligaments on either side, and then the two important ligaments here called the cruciates. And this ligament right here is the anterior cruciate ligament. It is the one that we always talk about because it's the one that's most important in the function of the knee, particularly in an athlete. And part of that's because that's what gives the athlete the sense of stability. And if you watch Klay when he landed on the floor and the trainers came out to talk to him, he said, "My knee went like this," and that's a very common sort of sense that a player will have when they injure their knee. What Klay did was when he went up for that dunk is he got hit from behind and he grabbed the rim. He got off balance, fell backwards, and his knee went backwards. His foot just caught just enough that as he pulled on his quadriceps muscle, which we see here, it just pulled on his leg, and as that pulled forward, the tension on that just snapped the anterior cruciate ligament.
What's typical recovery time, 6 to 9 months?
So again, this is a major surgical procedure, technically a little more difficult than an Achilles, but again, the recovery is the same amount of time as an Achilles will be. It's going to be about 9 months to a year. 9 months is really when we let athletes get back to playing, so we're looking at towards the end of next season again.
In the case with Kevin Durant, he previously had a calf injury, and we don't know if there's any cause and effect there. With Klay, he had a hamstring injury, same leg, and then this happens. I'll ask you the same thing. Any connection between the injuries?
No, I don't think there's any question. There's no connection in this injury whatsoever. If you look at that replay, there's clearly a mechanical disadvantage that his knee has when he lands, and it has nothing to do with the hamstring not being strong enough.
You had some interesting numbers, the data, because an Achilles tendon tear in the NBA is relatively rare. ACL is much more common, right?
Yeah, you know, and looking at the data, it's about 5 times more common. It's amazing to me, though, that both of these injuries don't happen more commonly, considering the size of these players and the speed and athleticism that they're playing this game at. You know, there's a tremendous force through their bodies every step of the game, and it's just amazing that there aren't more injuries.
Which recovery is more difficult for an athlete, the ACL rehab or the Achilles tendon?
Well, I think they're both difficult in their own way. Certainly, the ACL reconstruction is a little bit more painful in the early phases. Once you're over that first hump of a couple of weeks, then they're both equally as daunting. But again, once you get past the first 6 weeks, then it's all about the conditioning component before they can get back to, again, that level of play that these professional athletes need to be prepared for.
A lot of times we see it takes a player, he can get out there in a year, but it takes another whole year to get back to being 100%. Is that what you would expect in these cases?
Well, I'd hope not. You know, some players are able to come back more quickly. Others, as you've seen with you know, with, for instance, Derrick Rose, he took a little bit longer to just to get his feet underneath him. These injuries are all very variable, and you know, it's unique for each player. My hope is to see both these guys back on the court next season for the playoffs.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And I hope we don't see you anytime soon. I love you coming in. I appreciate your time, but we don't need any more injuries, Doc.
You know, it's disheartening to be here again. As a fan of the Warriors, certainly, I don't wish to be here too much more often.
All right, but thanks for the insight. We appreciate it. Dr. Belzer.